What a nice way to start, huh? We are light. So again, I welcome everybody here to the Wednesday night service for Grants Pass Center for Spiritual Living. I am Reverend Nan Bankston, and it's my pleasure to be here with you tonight. Now I'd like to invite our practitioner for tonight, Karen Jordan, to do an invocation and have us do a few minutes of nice silent meditation. Karen, it's all yours. If you'll unmute yourself, we'll be ready to go.
Thank you, Nan, Reverend Nan. I'm so grateful for this opportunity to be with everyone. And I know that everyone, everywhere, every time, every place is God. As I sat on the front porch holding nature, realized that the move trees, the blossoming of flowers, the growing of grass, the twitter of birds, in the loving kindness that people show each other, in the loving kindness we show animals, birds, nature. I am so grateful that we have green, lovely, growing chlorophyll plants, that we have food that comes from all over the world that fills us and feeds us. I'm grateful for the impeccability and the integrity I expect and see in our governance, in our lawmakers. And I know that in this difficult time of creating a better economy and a healthier nation, they are working very, very hard to meet all expectations. And for this, I'm so grateful. I know that each of us feels that gratitude in one form or another. And so as we sit quietly with ourselves, our time with our very precious selves, let there be a moment or two of remembering and appreciating that element of nature, that element of being in this time and place, and feel the gratitude of knowing that all is well. As we know that time with us is precious, that sitting for even 10 minutes a day brings us that much closer to who we are in God. And so I say thank you, thank you, thank you. And so it is.
And so it is. Thank you so much, Karen. Beautiful invocation and meditation time. Well, happy Wednesday, everybody. You know, I just love these Wednesdays together. It's time that we get to be inspired and uplifted for the rest of the week, and I just thank you for being here with me. February's theme is One Journey, Many Paths, and in this theme, we are encouraged to move from thinking of the divine to feeling it and experiencing it. Last week, we talked a bit about mystical experiences and what those may be like. Well, this week, we're going right straight to the heart of the matter in my talk entitled The Infinite Power Within Us. And the video that began our service, India Ari's I Am Light, cuts straight to the chase. It also brings to my mind a quote from Dr. Michael Bernard Beckwith. He said, everyone has this giant luminous being that is their true self. Everyone is a sleeping giant, so to speak, waiting to hear the call, waiting to surrender to it, waiting to act on it. We've gotten caught up in thinking we are what we look like, the physical, the exterior. We think we're the lampshade, and we've forgotten that we are the light, the electricity, and the luminosity that lights up every man, woman, and child. The light is who we truly are. And you know, Dr. Holmes, our founder, said in the 1938 edition of the Science of Mind text that we still use today, on page 341.3, he states, there can and does descend into our minds, embody and personify in our person a divinity, a unity, the Spirit of God, the direct incarnation of the original thing in us. Well, he had that right on point. That is the light that shines in every molecule of our physicality by means of photons. Photons are a scientific fact, so we can't just walk away from them. Well, we can if we choose to deny them, but the photons are still there, emitting light in every molecule of all creation. You know, there's a form of specialized photography called Kirlian photography that actually captures the light and the frequency of the colors of light emitted from the body. It's very interesting to see some of the photographs that have been taken using that form of photography. And you know, whether we see it or not, when we recognize that light in ourselves, that indwelling divinity, to the degree that we are willing, open, and receptive participants and partners with God, our lives can and will correspond to and demonstrate that divine relationship. Always fully active, God is everywhere, equally present. God as presence is innate connection, wondrous creativity, limitless possibility, radiant inspiration, and perfect order. That divine you, that inner light that shines at the center of your being, will not be denied. Regardless of where we have been or what we have thought or learned about spirituality before we arrived at this philosophy, that indwelling essence has always been there. There is always a creative impulse in us that must be satisfied to know and be more than we have known or been up until now. Perhaps in other teachings, there was a part of you that was satisfied, kind of like having a pretty good meal, but something in the dish was missing. And you were never really full when you left that spiritual table. Or possibly you eventually didn't like the dish that was offered there because you were always hungering for more than it could offer. That, my friends, is divine discontent. It's a restlessness in our soul that inspires, directs, and pushes us to explore, to examine, to know, and to find that which truly resonates with us from the spiritual buffet of life. Many of us have moved along the buffet line and tried many dishes, each of which may have been tasty, but not fulfilling. And so we keep moving along, looking for something that would not only whet our appetite, but satisfy our innate desire for a deeper relationship with that divine essence within. Ultimately, we arrived here, religious science, with plates full of ingredients, spices, and previous recipes that were pretty good. I know when I moved through my spiritual journey, I moved from fundamental Christianity to Native American spirituality. I wandered through Buddhism, Hinduism, and other teachings. And then I came into religious science where it all came together in joyous harmony and welcoming. I finally found the most satisfying spiritual meal of my life. And the best dessert on the buffet table arrived when I was encouraged to stay open at the top and try even more goodies from the infinite spiritual buffet of wisdom. We don't put a lid on infinite wisdom in Science of Mind. There's no dogma or doctrine that absolutely must be followed. Oh, there are many helpful tools to assist us in building that connection with the infinite power within us. And learning how to use that power for good in our lives and for others is very enjoyable and productive, and we manifest. Yes, we do. Because the infinite essence exists within us, we are constantly called to honor that creativity within us. And there are vast ways that it may express. And it is that joyous feeling of a new idea or thought or possibility that always energizes us. Now we can walk away and we can run and we can hide, but that divine discontent, that restlessness to create more fully through the infinite potential within us will not go away until we say yes. And when we say yes, oh my, doors open that we never could have imagined. When we give our sacred yes, we begin a dance with the spirit within us that is just ready and waiting to create all good in our lives. For just a moment, I invite us to think of a time in our life when we felt just a little bit stuck. Might have been school, a relationship, a living condition, a job, or many other things we could feel stuck in. And that includes ways of being and thinking, like struggling with money or believing we're not good enough, smart enough, or important enough, or wealthy enough to change our life. So there we were in a rut, thinking that nothing could change. We couldn't see any other options because we were looking through our human eyes at human conditions that seemed so very real and powerful and immovable. And then maybe one day we saw a movie, or we read a book, or there was a quote in a magazine. We heard a song. We saw something in nature, or someone asked us at work for a new idea about how to solve a situation. And right there, in our perception of stuckness, we felt a little stir inside that was kind of like a couple of butterflies winging through our midsection, or maybe a little tingle of electricity. We may have been quiet, observing nature, or we may have been out bowling or at a ball game. But this little idea or inspiration came floating in, and we felt a nudge from spirit within. As we continued to push it aside, it got bigger. And finally, that creative urge within us required that we look at the possibility. And we took a peek, and then the butterflies started multiplying. And then we started really focusing on something new or different and realized there was more than one possibility. And voila, we had to keep considering, pondering, and finally saying yes and taking action. Now, maybe that didn't happen until we got into this teaching and heard that we are beings of infinite possibility and always free to choose. With that information, we began to pay attention to the butterflies and the tingles. Now we had mindfulness, meditation, contemplation, and affirmative prayer that opened doors to the connection with the divine essence within. And as we communed with that divinity within, we became veritable gardens of creativity, inspiration, and ideas. There are no limits to what we can do, be, and have when we understand our true power is that infinite power within us. When we begin to realize that we are light, that we can illuminate our own lives and reach the lives of others, there is a satisfaction like no other that we have found on the grand buffet of life. The selections and possibilities are endless. We can sample, we can take a bigger helping. Oh, we can even go back for seconds. And if we find we have served up something that we don't really like, we can even go back with a clean plate and start all over, just as Reverend Stevens suggested in his talk this past Sunday about having a clean slate. So the good news for this week is this, and you know I like good news. No matter where you are in life, infinite possibilities await you as you connect with, are energized by, and allow that infinite power within you to express for good. I invite each of us this week to take a look at any place in our lives that we may feel stuck, to turn within and then connect with that power within us and shine that powerful light on that feeling of stuck. In fact, why don't we just try that right now for just a moment? So just for this moment in time, I invite you to take a breath.
I have got inside right.
I invite you to take a breath, take a soft focus on something in your room, or close your eyes if you are comfortable doing that. And just bring to mind some little thing that feels stuck, something you would like to change in your life. As you have that in mind, I invite you to turn within, to just be in the presence of that infinite power within you, to feel the warmth and the light, and to be illuminated in the wisdom of the presence of love that is always there waiting for you. Feel that love and the power of that love, and know that that is the truth of your being. And here in this very moment, in the silence within you, just ask your inner self to show you a possibility of change for that stuck place. Now feel that infinite power rise up and energize your thought. In this moment, bask in that light that is you. And just say to yourself quietly, I am light. I am light. In full illumination of that infinite power within you, I just invite you to return to this moment easily, effortlessly, radiating that light. And how beautiful each of you are tonight. So as you go through your week, consider that inspiration you may have received. Recognize the light and power within yourself as you commune with Spirit regularly. Take that moment. Start your day by saying, I am light. And as you interact, pass each other, other people, connect anywhere, wherever you may be, just simply say, I am light. And then extend that recognition to others as you say to yourself, I am light and I see the light in you too. Watch your world brighten even on the cloudiest day. And we're going to have some more cloudy days coming this next few days. And then rejoice in the light that is the truth of your being every moment. For you are the light of the world. And so it is.
And so it is.
And let me just fix this. And so, oh, come on. There we go. So let us go to prayer for now, as is our custom. So just staying in that light, staying in that soft focus of that light within, and knowing that the very truth of our being is that we are one with all that is. That infinite loving wisdom of light and love and peace and power and beauty and joy and inspiration exists in each of us. It is the divinity within us. It is that light that surpasses all brilliance. It's the light that created the universe. That light exists within each and every one of us. So right here, right now, I celebrate that light. I celebrate that light in those who may hear the sound of my voice and in those who do not and are far away. For I affirm and declare that every bit of creation, every being is one with that light that is the love of the universe. And so I speak a word of peace, of joy, of ease, of well-being for everyone. I speak a word of prayer for those who may feel stuck, who may feel that they live in darkness, knowing that that is only a worldly condition, that is a perception, and is not the reality of the truth of their being. And I speak a word for knowing that every person comes to the recognition of that divinity within in their own time, in their own place. And for this, I am so grateful and so blessed and so overjoyed. And so in this moment, in this time, I just give great good thanks for all that is. And I release this word into that living, loving law of mine that always, always, always says, yes, my beloveds, yes. And so it is. And so it is. And so now we'll just do our offertory and we'll celebrate our abundance and the divine flow of all good in our lives. So I just invite you to take your gift in your hand and place it over your heart. We're so very, very grateful at the center for all the gifts that have kept us going throughout the months, for the generosity and the abundance that our community demonstrates all the time. And so we just take our gifts and we bless them, knowing with this affirmation, I share my good with love and joy. We can say it again. I share my good with love and joy. And so we bless those gifts and we bring them forward. And now with the overflowing abundance simply flowing into all that is represented in the good in my hands right now, just flowing in a divine abundance. I bless these gifts. I know that they are greatly given in love and ease and joy, and that they return to those who have given exponentially, for it is the divine will of the universe that give and take must happen. And so knowing that these gifts are blessed, I just sent them forth to heal and prosper, and I release them now into that beautiful way of the divine flow. And so it is. And so it is. And now we'll do our candle lighting ceremony. So Karen, I just invite you to light our candle. And so we perform this ceremony to promote the universal consciousness of all life, which acknowledges that all people and all faiths, all sentient beings come from the one great universal presence, which we call spirit. So we light a candle for the Tao, honoring the universal path of harmony and equilibrium, the natural way. We light the candle for the shamanic traditions, honoring the beliefs and practices of all indigenous peoples, the way of primal spirituality. We light a candle for Hinduism, honoring the path of knowledge, action, and devotion. We light a candle for Judaism, honoring the ethical path of living by sacred law. We light the candle for all forms of Buddhism, honoring the Four Noble Truths and the path of compassion. We light a candle for all forms of Christianity, honoring the Christ consciousness as the path of love. And we light a candle for all forms of Islam, honoring the path of submission to the will of God as the highest calling. We light a candle for the universalistic religion of Baha'i, honoring the path of unity and peace. We light a candle for all forms of New Thought, honoring the metaphysical path of mental healing through the practice of universal spiritual principles. And we light a candle for those who are as yet unaware of the power and presence of Spirit in their lives, and for the space that we are holding for them at this center, and for all religions unnamed in this ceremony, we light this candle. And so knowing that this candle is representative of the light that we have spoken about, that light of the divinity within us, as is our custom, we will just put our hands over our hearts and allow that light within us to overflow, spill into our hands. And just as is our custom, we will let that flowing light overflow, and we go 1, 2, 3 as we rub our hands together, energizing that light, and then whoosh, we send that light out into our homes, our neighborhoods, our communities, out across our country, around the globe, and out into the cosmos and beyond the beyond the beyond. And so it is, my friends. Happy Wednesday.